Hi friends, hope you are doing well. Snowflake has an inbuilt mechanism of creating alerts and sending email notifications. In this video, I will explain about what are the Snowflake alerts and how we can send email notifications. So we can use the Snowflake alerts and email notifications to perform certain actions and send email notifications automatically. Okay, so first let's see when to use the Snowflake alerts. If you need to send a notification or if you want to perform certain action when data in Snowflake meets some conditions, in that case you can set up a Snowflake alert. So here if you see when data meets certain conditions, so what those conditions can be. For example, the warehouse credit usage increases by a specified percentage of your quota. Suppose when the credit usage of your warehouse meets 90%, I want to send a notification. Or when the resource consumption of your pipelines or tasks, it increases by beyond a specified amount. Suppose when it is increased by 95%, I want to create one alert and send one email notification to the administrator or the users. Or your data is not expected to meet certain business rule that you have set up. Suppose there will be business requirements for the projects, right? And when your data is not as per that rule or as per the expectation, immediately you can create one alert to send email notifications. Or when a query is taking more time than expected, suppose a query is there or a set of queries are there. So if the queries are taking long time, like 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, okay, I don't want to run my queries for those many hours and hours. Okay, so if it is crossing 30 minutes or 1 hour, I want to send a notification to the user so that he can tune the query. Okay, or when a table is modified or truncated, suppose I want to be notified or the administrator needs to be notified when you are altering the table or when you are performing some DML operations or when you are deleting data or truncating the data from the table. So in that case also, if you want to create an alert and send a notification, so we can create Snowflake alerts for these purposes. Okay, now what are the Snowflake alerts? So in the previous slides I mentioned Snowflake alert. So what is the Snowflake alert? Okay, a Snowflake alert is a schema level object that specifies a condition, that specifies three things. One is a condition that triggers the alert. Okay, so when data meets certain conditions, we told, right? So that condition and the action to perform. So when it meets the certain condition, what action needs to be performed? Okay, so we have to specify that action, and when and how often the condition should be evaluated. So do you want to evaluate that condition every minute, every hour, every day, every week? So that schedule we have to specify. So alert is a schema level object, like the tables and views, they are schema level objects, right? And pipes, snow pipes, streams, tasks, they are the objects in the Snowflake, right? Like that, Snowflake alert is a schema level object that specifies, that maintains these three things: the condition, the action, and the schedule. For example, if I want to send an email notification when the credit consumption exceeds a certain limit for a warehouse, and you want to check this for every 30 minutes, in that case you need to create an alert with following properties. So what are the properties we have to set? As we discussed earlier, the condition. So how to mention the condition? It can be a SQL statement as well. Suppose I can get my credit usage from a table called a view called warehouse metering history, that is present in the account usage schema of Snowflake database. Okay, so we have Snowflake database. There is a default database Snowflake, right? So here we have a schema called account usage. In this, if you see, there are so many views. So in that there is a view called warehouse metering history. Okay, so from that table, from that view, you can get how much the credit usage for that specified warehouse. Okay, so that is my condition. When it exceeds a specified limit, like 90% limit, it exceeded. So that is my condition. In that case, my action should be like email to the administrator. Okay, so we have to send an email to the administrator saying uh, the credit usage, the credit consumption exceeded 90% of the quota we specified. Okay, and when you want to execute this alert, okay, what is the schedule? That also you have to mention the frequency or the schedule time. So like you want to run this alert, you want to check this condition for every 30 minutes or for every 1 hour or every day. So we have to specify. So whenever you want to create an alert, you have to mention all these three things. Okay. Now let's see how to create those alerts. Okay. Before creating the alerts, so we have to know what are the privileges needed to create this alert. So if you want to create an alert, the user or the role who is creating the alert must have following privileges. So what are those privileges? First of all, the execute alert privilege on the account, and only by default only account admin or the users with the account admin role will get this privilege, and he can grant the privilege to the user who wants to create these Snowflake alerts. So that can be done by using this SQL statement: grant execute alert on the account to the role. So which role you want to grant this um, role. Okay, okay, so this is the role, this is the role name. Okay, so for which role you want to give this access, execute alert access. Okay, so this is one privilege, and the second one is the usage and create alert privilege on the schema in which you want to create. So I told, right, so this Snowflake alert is a schema level object. For that, the user or role should have the usage access on that schema as well as the create alert access on that schema. So how to grant this access to these roles? Okay, so grant create alert on the schema. Okay, the schema name and to the role and the role name. The same way, grant usage on schema name to role, the role name. So here we are granting two things: create alert access and usage access. Okay, the third one is the usage privilege on the database containing that schema. So here we have given the schema, right? So in which database the schema presents. Okay, for that database also, the admin should grant this usage access to that role. Okay, and the last one is, so if we want to execute that alert, so the alert should execute two things: one is the condition and the other one is action. Based on the condition, it has to perform some action. So these can be SQL statements, right? So SQL statement will run through the warehouse. So the user should have access for the warehouse that is mentioned inside the create alert statement. Okay, so that can be granted by using this command: grant usage on database. Sorry, this is warehouse. Okay, okay, grant usage on warehouse, the warehouse name which is used in that create alert command. Okay, to role, the role name. Okay, so this is very important in real time. So when you are operating with multiple users and multiple roles, these privileges plays main role. Okay, so next thing is how you can create and how you can drop alerts. Okay, so this is the syntax to create an alert. So how it is: create or replace alert name. So we have to specify a name for this object, and so we have to give the warehouse. So which warehouse it should be using to execute. Okay, and the schedule. So this you can be like you can put like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you want to execute this alert on certain conditions, so we can use cron statement. So I have explained multiple times while explaining the tasks and other things, how to set up a cron command. Okay, you can get those details from the tasks video of mine. Okay, so schedule we have to provide, and the, you don't need to mention both things like the minutes and the cron. So if you know for how many minutes you want to execute the alert, if you know the exact time, you can mention simply the number of minutes here. Or if you want to run weekly or on particular days, okay, in that case only you need to use this cron command. Okay, and comment, so you can provide some comment which is not mandatory, and then the syntax goes like this: if exists, this is okay, this is mandatory, if exists, and you have to mention the condition. So we have discussed already what is the condition, right? That condition you have to put, and when it meets this condition, so if this condition is true, then so what is the action to be performed? So this action can be sending a email or executing a DDL or DML statement. It can be anything. Suppose if I want to send a notification when this condition is true, in that case I can use that send email sending stored procedure here. I can execute that procedure. Or if I want to insert data into some table when this condition meets, or if I want to truncate the table when this condition meets, so we have to specify those SQL statements in this action. Okay, so this is the syntax of creating an alert. So create or replace alert name, we have to specify warehouse, schedule, comment, and the condition and the actions. Okay, so this is just a note. We have to resume the alert after creating them to start the alerts. So whenever you create any any alert for the first time, by default it will be in a passed state. So if you want to resume that, if you want to start that alert immediately after creating this alert, you have to resume it immediately. So the statement is like alter alert. So be careful with this. So the spellings are almost similar, right? Alter, alter command, alert, alert name, and you have to specify resume. If you want to stop it, okay, later you can say like alter, alert, alert name, stop. Okay, and suppose in future if I feel like this alert statement is not required, or this particular alert is not required, by using the drop command I can drop that alert, drop alert, alert name. Okay, and if I want to view what are all the alerts present in my system, or if I want to execute any alert manually, so how to do? So if I want to see all the alerts present in the system, this is the command show alerts. Okay, these are schema level objects. So if you want to see all the alerts present in a schema, you can say like show alerts in schema and that schema name. And if I want to see details of particular alert, okay, so I have an alert name. So this was created by some other user. If I want to see the definition of that alert, like which warehouse they are using, what is the schedule of that alert, and what are the conditions they are checking, what is the action they are performing in that alert. So if I want to check all these details, so you can simply execute this command, describe alert and that particular alert name. Okay, and how to execute alerts? So in general the alerts will be executed at the specified time intervals, because in the alert definition itself we are specifying the scheduling information. Suppose if I want to execute that alert manually, okay, suppose whenever first time I have created that alert and I want to test it before scheduling itself, if I want to test that alert, in that case I have to run it manually, right? Okay, or when needed, sometimes maybe suppose we have a alert that was scheduled to run every day, but there is a requirement I want to check those conditions immediately. In that case I can execute that alert by using this statement, execute alert, alert name. So it will check the conditions and perform the actions whatever specified in the alert creation statement. Okay, so altering alerts. So we have seen how to create, how to drop, Okay, how to view, how to execute. Now if I want to alter any alerts, okay, suppose if I want to suspend or resume, so I can suspend the warehouse by using this command: alter alert name suspend. Okay, if I want to resume it back, alter alert name resume. Or if I want to modify the alert condition, so there are conditions mentioned in the alert definition, right? If I want to modify those conditions, so this is the statement we have to use: alter alert name modify condition, and we have to put this condition like this. And if I want to modify the alert action, okay, so this is the statement we have to use. And if I want to modify the warehouse name, if I want to change the warehouse name which is present in the alert definition, by using this set warehouse, we can change it. And if I want to change the schedule of my alert, by using this statement set schedule, okay, so I can change the schedule of my alert. Okay, so this is about alerts. And let's practice immediately. After that, we'll go through the email notifications thing. Okay, I have the commands ready. That's why I'm just copy pasting these commands into Snowflake worksheet. Okay, now let's go through the statements. So the first thing is to create a database and schema. If your database and schema doesn't exist, you can create. Okay, so I'm just creating this database called EMP, and I'm creating a schema called HR data inside that database. You can check here. Just go here and refresh. So one database MP EMP with schema HR data was created. Now let's create a table and insert some data into the table first. Okay, so I'm creating a table called employees with these fields: employee ID, first name, last name, till manager and department ID, and my primary key is employee ID. So I'm just creating this. Okay, table created. Now so I'm creating another table. Okay, the table name is high salaried EMP. So here my requirement is, okay, so whenever we insert a record into this employees table, okay, with the salary greater than 30,000, okay, so that is the high salary. Okay, I want to make an alert on this high salary insertion into this table. That means whenever we insert a employee record into this employees table with a salary greater than 30,000, immediately that employee detail should be inserted into another table called high salaried employee. Okay, high salaried employee, this is another table, but this insertion into this high salaried employee table should be done automatically. Okay, so this is my requirement. That's why I'm creating this empty table: create or replace table high salaried employee with only employee ID, salary, and insertion timestamp. Okay, only with these three fields I am creating a table high salaried employee. Okay, so just execute this. So this table has been created. Okay, now I am creating this alert. So whatever the requirement just now I mentioned, for that requirement I am creating an alert. So it goes like this: create or replace alert. This is the alert name. I am creating this alert under the HR data schema. Okay, and I am using the default warehouse compute underscore WH. This warehouse I'll be using for this for running this alert. Okay, and I want to execute this alert for every 1 minute. That's why I'm putting my schedule like schedule equals to 1 minute. And what is the condition? So what is the condition here? So if exists, that means whenever this condition is true. So what is the condition here? Select employee ID comma salary from employees table where salary greater than 30,000. Okay, so that is our condition, right? So this is condition. What is our action? So this employee record should be inserted into another table called high salaried employee, and this should be done automatically. That's why I am putting my action like then insert overwrite. Okay, what insert overwrite will do, it will just truncate and load the data into this table. So Why I wrote like this, I'll tell you later. Insert overwrite into high salaried employee. Okay, so select employee ID, comma salary, comma current timestamp. So I am selecting only three fields here. Why? Because my high salaried employee table contains only three fields. Okay, that's why I'm selecting only employee ID, salary, and current timestamp. Whenever we are executing, okay, that timestamp I want to insert into this employee table. Okay, so my action is insert into this high salaried employee table and select these details, okay, from employee table where the salary is greater than 30,000, okay, or greater than or equals to 30,000. Okay, let's put condition like this. Okay, so I am creating this alert. Okay, alert has created. Now I'm inserting some data. Okay, so I'm inserting some 10 records into this table. 10 or 11 records I'm inserting into this table. And if you observe the salaries, so the salaries like 32,000, 17,000, 9,000, 6,000, and only one record has 32,000, that is greater than or equals to 30,000. So let's insert this data. Okay, so 10 records inserted into this table, and out of 10 only one has salary of greater than or equals to 30,000. So this should be inserted into the high salaried employee table automatically, because we have created this alert. Whenever we insert some data into the employees table with the salary greater than or equals to 30,000, it should be inserted in this table as well, high salaried employee. So let's check that. But we have scheduled it to run for every 1 minute, right? So let's take a minute and then run this select star from this high salaried employee table. Okay, so now I'm explaining why I wrote insert override. So whatever the records present in this table, okay, so first time suppose there is only one record, this record will be inserted into this table. Next time again it will be inserted, right? Just to make sure, because we are selecting simply, I am not putting critical conditions because this is just a demo. So I am selecting all the records from this table where salary greater than or equals to 30,000. That's why I am just putting insert override here. Okay, hope you understood. I think it's more than a minute. So let's run this select star from this high salaried employee table. Okay, if you see there are no records, that means our alert is not working. Why our alert is not working? Let's see the conditions first. Let's check if there are any records in this employees table where salary greater than or equals to 30,000. Okay, run this. And there is a record. So if you see there is a record with salary greater than or equals to 30,000, but it was not inserted. So what is the problem? So after creating the alert, we did not start that alert. Alright. So I told you while explaining in the PPT. So we have to resume the alert to start it. After creating the alert, we have to run this resume command to start that alert. Okay. So I am just running this resume. Okay. Now the alert has been started. Now let's take 1 more minute and check this. Okay. Now 1 minute is over. Let's check the data. Okay. See, now you can see. Okay. Employee ID, salary, and insert timestamp in the high salaried employee table. Okay. Now let's insert 2 more records and let's check how the alert is working now. Okay. So I'm inserting 2 new records into this employees table with a salary of 37,500 for one employee and 29,000 for another employee. Okay. Just I'm running this insert statement. Now 2 records inserted. So there are total 12 records in this employees table. So if you want to check, you can check. So how many records are there in the employee table? Okay. So in this employee table, we have now 2 records. Earlier there was only 1 record. Now there are 2 records with greater than or equals to 30,000. Okay. So it will take 1 minute, right? To because we have scheduled it to run for every 1 minute. But let's execute this manually so that I can demo this execute alert command as well. Okay. So before 1 minute, if I want to execute my alert, how can I do? Okay, execute alert name. Okay, I'm running this. So alert has been executed. Now check this high salaried employee table. Okay, let's run this command. Now you can see two records. So the record we have inserted with salary of 37,500 came to this high salaried employee table. So it's working, right? So based on the conditions we have specified, it is performing the action we have mentioned in the alert definition. So it is working as expected. Now suppose I want to suspend or stop my alert after some time or in future. So how can I do it? Simply by executing alter alert. Okay. So alert name and suspend. And you have to do it. So if you are practicing through a trial account, okay. So you must execute this command. Otherwise, your warehouse will be running for every minute, and within 1 or 2 days, all your free credits will be consumed, and you cannot use your Snowflake trial account anymore. That's why you have to run this command. Okay, must and should. Okay, I am running this. So now my alert has been suspended. So if I want to see all the alerts, okay, what is the command? Show alerts. I am already in the HR data of schema of employee database, so it will show alerts present in this schema. Okay, so here you can see what are the alerts present. We have created only one alert and it is there. And if you want to check the status of this alert, here you can see state, okay, suspended. So just before this statement, we have suspended this, right? So you can see the same status there. And suppose in future, if I want to drop this alert, if I feel there is no use of this alert in future, if I want to drop it by using this drop command, I can drop it. Drop alert name. Okay, I'm executing it. So the alert has been dropped. So if you want to check, you can run this show alerts. So there are no alerts as of now because we have dropped the alert. Okay, so this is how you can create alerts. This is how you can mention the conditions and actions, and this is how you can monitor your alerts, and this is how you can suspend or drop your alerts. Okay, now let's see about email notifications. So these email notifications are used to send email messages or email alerts to users. Users, this is very important. Okay, suppose I have my Snowflake account. From this account, I cannot send emails to your email or to someone else's email unless until you are a user of my Snowflake account. That means in trial accounts, mostly we are operating with a single user, but in real time, it's not like that. So there will be multiple users in the single Snowflake account, and everyone has to configure their email address in their profile section. And whoever configured, so we can send email alerts or email messages to all those users. Okay, just try to understand. The users who are part of that Snowflake account only can receive email alerts or messages. Okay, for the third party, you cannot send email notifications or email messages from Snowflake. Okay, we can create this. Actually, to implement this email notifications, we have to create an email type notification integration object. So you have seen already the integration objects like storage integration objects. Suppose if I want to integrate Snowflake with my AWS S3 or Azure containers, so we have created storage integration objects. Like that, if I want to send emails, okay, we have to create a notification integration object. Okay, and there is a stored procedure called system send email. So send email is the inbuilt stored procedure that we can use to send emails. Okay, and this email address must be verified to receive emails from Snowflake. Okay, so how to verify these emails? Suppose if email is not configured, okay, you can do it by going to the profile section of Snowflake. Suppose for the in real time there are multiple users and you are one of the user and you haven't configured your email address in your users page. So if you want to receive emails, you should configure your email address and it should be verified. So how to do that? Okay, so let's go to Snowflake. So in your users profile, okay, suppose this is my user, right? So here if you go to my profile, here it shows, okay, your email address. If it is not configured, you can alter this email address or you can configure a new email address here. So whenever you do some change here, like suppose if I want to put some 4, okay, I want to change my email address. If I just click on save, okay, a notification will come. Like if you go here again, so please check your inbox to verify your email address. Okay, you have to go to your inbox of this email address. There you will get one email from Snowflake and you have to click on verify email. Okay, so your email configuration will be effective from that onwards. Okay, this is how you can set up your email in your users profile, or you can change your email address from your users profile. So who have verified these email addresses, they only will receive email notifications from Snowflake. If you don't verify your email address, you will not receive any email message from Snowflake. Even though the alert is there and you have mentioned your email, but you will not receive messages. Okay, if you don't verify this email address. Okay, that is the point I have mentioned in these 2 lines. And if you specify an email address that hasn't been verified, the stored procedure will fail and emails will not go. As I said already, if you haven't specified or if you haven't verified your email address, the stored procedure, whenever you execute this stored procedure, this will fail and emails will not go to that specified email address. Okay, and a single account can define a maximum of 10 email integrations. Don't confuse, not 10 email addresses. So 10 email integrations. Under each integration object you can mention multiple email IDs. Okay, and a single account can have a maximum of 10 email integrations. We can send emails inside a stored procedure as well. So while executing a stored procedure, if there is a need to send an alert, send an email, okay, so we can simply call this send email, okay, by configuring this stored procedure with by calling the stored procedure with some parameters. Okay, and you will receive email, right? So you will receive the email from this email address. Okay, if you execute this send email to send email notifications, so the users will get emails, right? They will get from this address. The from address will be this no reply at snowflake.net. Okay, and there will be no extra payment for sending emails or for the Snowflake alerts themselves. So there is no extra payment you need to pay for sending emails or configuring the Snowflake alerts. But the users has to pay for the compute cost. I already told, right? While creating a Snowflake alert, we have to mention the warehouse name and we have to mention the conditions and the actions. So if the warehouse is executing those conditions and performing those actions, then definitely there will be a credit consumption. For that credit consumption or for that warehouse usage, you have to pay. Okay, for these notifications and alerts, you don't need to pay any extra thing. Only for that virtual warehouse usage, the bill will come at the end of the month. Okay, so this is about email notifications and how to create a notification integration object. So this is the syntax: create notification integration and the notification integration object name. Okay, and the type is email type. Enabled equals to true. That means if you want to start using this email integration object, so it should be in the true state. If it is in false state, emails will not go. Okay, and allowed participants, I already told, right? Under each and every notification integration object, okay, we can specify a list of email IDs. So whenever I call that stored procedure, okay, so the mail will go to all these recipients specified in this integration object. Okay, I'll come back to this point. Remember this for now. Okay, and if we don't specify allowed participants, email will go to all users in the account. Okay, so if you don't specify this option while creating the integration object, okay, what will happen? So who are the users present in the Snowflake account? If there are 10 users in the Snowflake account, for all those 10 users, the email notifications will be triggered. Okay, so now I was telling, right? So there is an inbuilt stored procedure to send email notifications. So this is the one system send email. So this is the system stored procedure, default stored procedure. So what is the structure of this stored procedure? Okay, let's see. So you can execute simply by using this call. Okay, send email, and this is the structure. That means these are the different parameters present in this stored procedure. So the integration name. So we just seen, right, how to create an integration object of email type. So this you have to mention in your procedure. So if you want to send email notifications while calling this stored procedure, you have to specify all these parameters: the integration name, integration object name, email address, and list of email address you have to provide, and email subject. So what should be the subject of your email, and what is the content of your email you are sending. So you have to specify these 4 parameters. Now let's come back to the email recipients. Okay, so while creating this integration object, if you don't specify this allowed participants, then what will happen? The email will go to all users in the Snowflake account. Suppose you have specified allowed participants and you have specified almost 10, 5 or 6. Suppose there are 10 users in this account. If you don't specify this, okay, the emails will go to all 10 users. And if you specify allowed participants, allowed recipients, okay, allowed recipients, and you specify 5 or 6 email addresses, then emails will go to only those 5 or 6 email addresses. Suppose you have specified 5 or 6 here, but while triggering the stored procedure, if you mention only 2 or 3 out of those 5, only email will go to only those 2 or 3 users. Suppose if you don't specify this option at all, then the email will go to all the users who are specified in the integration object. So here, so what are the email IDs specified here? For all those email IDs, the notifications will be triggered. So that is the priority, or that is the way how emails will be triggered in Snowflake. Okay, so we have to simply call this stored procedure with these parameters to create or to send email notifications in Snowflake. Now, so what are the types of possible alerts? That means, so you are saying there are alerts, there are email notifications. So in real time, what are the different possible alerts, or when I should trigger an email notification? So there should be some conditions, or there should be requirements, right? So these are some of the requirements. So warehouse usage alert, I already specified. So if your warehouse limit exceeds 90%, then send a alert or send an email notification. Long running query alert. So if your queries are getting delayed, they are running for more time than expected, then send a alert notification to the users. And failed user logins. Suppose a user is trying to log in for more than 3 times, then I want to send a notification. So you can send storage or credit threshold alerts. Okay, suppose my storage is exceeding. So if it is a on-demand storage and my storage is exceeding more than this, then, or if so this is like warehouse credits only, our credit consumption is more than 90% or 80%. So that means when it meets some threshold, send a notification. And if anybody is resizing your warehouse, suppose they are changing it from medium to large, or when they are dropping this warehouse, in that case send a notification to the administrator. Or any user is dropping the table, or he is truncating the table, okay, send an alert to the sysadmin. Okay, or snowpipe failure notifications. When a snowpipe is failing, okay, if you want to send a email notification, you can trigger a email notification. And if your task is failing, if you want to send a notification, you can send email notifications. If a stored procedure is failing, or if any objects like a table, schema, database, or procedure, streams, views, okay, if anybody is modifying, if you want to send an alert, you can send an alert. And business requirement violation alerts. So as I said, so even we can run some test conditions. Okay, suppose my data should be like this, but because of some wrong code or wrong deployment, the data got the data is coming as not as expected. The data is coming not as expected. In that case, if I want to trigger an email notification saying that the data is not correct, so we can set up that alerts. So these are some of the possible type of alerts and where you can send email notifications to users or administrators. Okay. I cannot explain all these things. Okay, so you can configure all these things by using Google. Okay, so suppose when my warehouse usage alert, warehouse usage consumption is more than 90%. So how to get all those details? So you can get all those details from the this one is there, right? Snowflake database account usage. So here you have so many views. This will give whatever the requirements I just discussed, right? All those details you can get from these views. Okay, warehouse usage, other alerts, failure notifications, everything, every detail will be stored in this account usage schema of Snowflake. Okay, so you can write queries on the views of this account usage, and you can put those queries in the condition section of your alert. Okay, so I cannot show everything, right? That's why I'll explain only one thing for now. Okay, let's look at this example. Okay, here I want to create an alert to notify users on the long running queries. For example, if any query is taking more than 30 minutes to finish or 30 minutes to complete, so I want to notify that to the users, like this query is taking more time, could you please look into this? I want to send an email notification saying that. Okay, so how to create an alert? Let's see. So this is the query, create or replace alert. So I am naming my alert as long running query alert. Okay, and warehouse I am using is compute warehouse, and scheduling is 15 minutes. That means run this query, uh, run this alert for every 15 minutes. Okay, and if exists, so this is the query. So what this query will do, this is my conditional query. What this query will do, it will select the query ID, query text, execution status, start time, end time, and time elapsed from this is there is a table function in the information schema of Snowflake database. So this is the information schema, this is the Snowflake database, and we have a table function called query history. So this will give the details of all the queries that were completed, and details of the queries that are currently running. So I am fetching these details like query ID, query text. That means this is the actual query. Okay, and when it started, when it ended, and what is the current status of this query. Okay, from this table function, where execution status should be running, right? So that's why I mentioned where execution status like running. Okay, and start time less than or equals to current timestamp minus 30 minutes. That means if any query is taking more than 30 minutes to finish, it will list those queries and it will send one email alert to the specified users. Okay, and this alert will be running for every 15 minutes. Okay, so the alert will run for every 15 minutes. It will check if any query is taking more than 30 minutes, and it will notify the users via email. So here this is my condition, right? And this is my action. So what I'm saying, call this stored procedure, send mail stored procedure with parameters like the integration object, the email of the users, what is the subject of the email, and what is the body of the email. Okay, so this is how you can create an alert on the long running queries. This is very important in real time. So let's practice this. Okay, so here the first step is creating a notification integration. Okay, so here what I am doing, I am creating one notification integration objects with the name email alerts. The type should be email, enabled equals to true. And if you see here, I am not mentioning any allowed recipients here. That means, so whatever the users present in the Snowflake account, everyone will get notified. Okay, so I am just creating this integration object. Okay, and so I'm testing one email. I'm sending a test email. So I'm executing this call, send email, and this is the integration object name, and this is the verified address. Okay, in the Snowflake account, I have verified this email address. Okay, you can you can get the same from the profile section of your user. Okay, this is the verified email address. Okay, and so subject is just hi, and this is a test email. This is the body. So when I run this command, so what will happen, it will send it will throw the status as true. That means email sent successfully. So if you want to check the same, just go to your mailbox. Okay, so here you can see you got an email from no reply at snowflake.net. So subject is hi, and the body is this is test email. So if you observe here, so if you observe in the query, okay, so I haven't specified any allowed recipients here, but when we don't specify that, it will send email to the all users present in that account. But in the send email stored procedure, I am sending this I am sending emails only to this email ID. That's why we have received here. So let's see another example. So in this example, I am saying create a notification integration. I am creating another integration object with the name email alerts. So type is email, enabled equals to true. Here I am mentioning allowed recipients equals to, I am mentioning 2 email addresses, but currently I have only one user in my account, that is with this email ID, but I am mentioning 2. So let's see what will happen. So the integration object will be created, and I am sending a test mail. So what I am saying, so send email using the integration objects, this one email alerts to, and I want to specify 2 email addresses. One is the verified one, jana.snowflake3@gmail.com, and another email also I am mentioning, jana.snowflake2@gmail.com. So the same subject and same body. So let me run this. What will happen? Let's see. So here it is throwing some error. Okay, email recipients in the given list. Okay, they are not allowed. Either the address is not yet validated. That means the email address I have mentioned in this mailing list was not verified. That's why I told you right while explaining in the PPT. So if we specify the non-verified email address, the stored procedure will fail and email notifications will not be triggered. Even though we specified this, so we did not get any notification here because the stored procedure itself got failed. Okay, so that's what I was mentioning. Okay, I hope you understood. Now let's see the long running query. So what I'm saying here, so as I don't have queries that will take more than 30 minutes, now I want to send email alert to the user on the long running queries. That means if the query is taking more than 1 minute, okay, so if any query is taking more than 1 minute, I want to send one email to this user with the subject as alert long running queries, and there are one or more queries running for more than 1 minute. Please check the query history. This is my body of the email. Okay, and here I am using the email alerts. So we have created this integration object, right? So I'm using that integration object here. Okay, and the query I have already explained. So here we are selecting the data from Snowflake database, information schema, and query history is a table function. From this table function, I'm getting the query details that are taking more than 1 minute to run. And my schedule is I want to run this alert for every 1 minute. That's why I scheduled it to run for every 1 minute. Okay, so I'm creating this alert. Okay, alert has been created, and so I'm starting this alert. How to start the alert? We have to change the status to resume, or we have to resume the alert after creation. So I'm just running this command. So now the alert is ready. It will be keep running in the background, and if it encounters any query that is taking more than 1 minute, it will send alert to the user email specified in the alert definition. So let's see. So here I'll be running one query. So I'm running this query on the Snowflake sample database. So if you see here, so there are so many schemas in the Snowflake sample database. So this database, every user with a trial account, they will get. This is the shared database. And if you go to the last schema, it will have very big tables. Like a customer table will have almost 150 million rows. And if you see the orders table, it will have almost 1.5 billion rows. So this is big table. Definitely it will take more than, if you run any query on these tables, it will take definitely more than 1 minute. So that is enough for our testing. So what I am doing here, okay, so there are two tables, customer and orders, and I want to know for each customer, okay, what is the sum of total price they are spending on the sales. Okay, so I have customer key and customer name in the customer table, and price details and sales details in the orders table. So I am joining this customers table and orders table based on the customer key, and I am calculating the total price by grouping on customer key and customer name. Okay, so let's run this query, and let's observe how much time it will take. And if it takes more than a minute, it should trigger one email. The alert should get this query, and it should notify the users saying this query is taking more than 1 minute. So let me run this query. Okay, so let's wait because it has to run for at least a minute, right? So now it's more than a minute. So it's running for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So let's see the email. Yeah, we got one email already, it seems. Yeah. So we got email from Snowflake Computing from the email address no reply at snowflake.net. And so whatever the subject we kept, alert long running queries, and the body of the email. So we got the email, right? So because it's taking more than a minute to run, and our alert is running for every 1 minute. So after 1 minute, it will run again, and if the query is still running, it will send another notification. Okay. So if you have patience, you can wait for 1 more minute, and it will generate one more. It will trigger one more email. If the same query is running for so much time, and if the schedule is less like this, so for the same query we'll get multiple emails. See, we got one more email. So this is the second email we got. Okay, so this is how the Snowflake alerts and email notifications work. Hope you understood. And you may get a doubt, right? I ran this query for the first time, and if I run the same query second time, it will fetch the data from results cache. So it will be completed within just 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So how can I test this? If I am rerunning this query again, how can I test? So if you can do this by switching off the results cache. So how can you switch off the results cache or turn off the results cache? Okay, this is the command: alter session set used result cache equals to false. So if you want to rerun this query and test your alerts, okay, first you run this query and then you run this query. Okay, so it took almost 3 minutes. That's why 3 minutes and 19 seconds. That's why we got 3 notifications with the same uh, same subject and the same body. Okay, so this is how you can practice the alerts. Okay, and let's come back. So here I have given some links. Okay, so go through these links. So these are some blogs people have explained about Snowflake alerts and Snowflake email notifications. Okay, so even they have given some more examples. Now I have given only one example on long running queries, right? But the people have given more queries or more examples to practice, so you can go through them. I hope you liked the video, and thank you. So these Snowflake alerts and email notifications are very important in real time. So just go through this video and have some knowledge on it. Thank you guys. Bye. If you like this video, please click on like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.